I do have a problem with LeBron fans.
So do you think that LeBron James fans are the worst, and why?
Yeah, absolutely.
Chicago Bulls. Michael Jordan.
Hello, everyone. Michael Jordan fans are the best. And today, I'm going to be interviewing Angry Old Hoops fan, talking about how he got into YouTube and some of the inspiration that he has while doing his content. But before we get into that, how are you today, sir?
Grouchy, as usual. Listened to a bunch of other content creators while I was out exercising this morning. I'm like, man, I can't believe it. I just can't believe this shit in the NBA. Just can't believe it.
Yeah, what's something going on right now that's really grinding your gears?
I just finished hearing Shaq commending or trying to defend Jimmy Butler, and the clips included playing back some of the stupid crap that Draymond Green has said. And I'm just, it goes back to your original question, why I'm on here. I'm mortified that these are the people that are on television and kids are listening to, and there's no strong father figure at home anymore. You know, we're a couple of generations into douchebags raising douchebags, so no one's there to say, don't listen to this guy. Like the things that these guys say, you need to be drug up in front of the class, have your pants pulled down, spanked, and then stuck in the corner for the rest of the week until the rest of the students realize, oh, this is not how you're supposed to behave. That's what needs to be done to these guys. You need a really big teacher to do that.
Yeah. So is that one of your motivations for the content you create? Are you just trying to give that perspective that what they're saying is wrong? And are you trying to just, because some of your content can be seen as aggressive or what have you, are you trying to give people that framework or give people the idea that you're trying to, because I know that you're talking more about basketball players and then just the media at large surrounding it, but are you trying to influence the fans that might feel that way, or in respect to people needing a father figure? Is that something that you're doing? Yeah.
I want people to think for themselves. And, you know, this isn't what I do for a living, but it's the same problem. Like, people are easily manipulated, and the manipulators are more willing than ever to be manipulative. And yeah, this was kind of an outlet. You know, I was just like, fuck it, why don't I just start ranting? Because like typing comments and stuff like that just disappears into oblivion, and it's a little bit of an outlet for me. Like I said, I don't do this for a living, and it's one of the reasons that I created a persona. I was just like, I'm just going to be unapologetic and anonymously say exactly what I want to say, and which is missing. You know, that's missing. It's badly missing.
What was the one thing that made you jump in to YouTube and just content creation in general, if you remember? And what time and what general time frame did you start your YouTube channel otherwise?
I started this YouTube channel, according to YouTube, 5 or 6 years ago, which kind of blows my mind. I can't believe that much time has gone by. And it was very humble beginnings. It's still pretty humble, relatively speaking now, but you know, it was basically nobody. But eventually people found it. And you know, you can try, like so many mainstream media do, to walk the line and try to please everybody. Mm-hmm. It's absolutely not what I wanted. And enough time went by that the people that wanted to hear this found the channel and liked the unapologetic approach of it.
What is one of your favorite pieces of content that you put out that is a great example of being unapologetic to whatever issue you have found within the NBA?
I don't know, man. My memory is not very good. I tell you, I find videos that I've made that YouTube is suggesting that I forgot I made. And I'm like, this is pretty good. I'm gonna have to start reacting to my own videos. But you know, the flopper one that I just put out, I was pretty offensive in that. So and it's getting a lot of views. So I guess I'll go with that one.
The more offensive, the better.
Well, it's not the shock value. I'm not going for shock value. I honestly think people that like LeBron James are like, don't come near me. Like, you're a gross person. Don't try to sit next to me in the bar. Don't try and play basketball with me. Like, fuck you. Get away from me.
So with that said, do you, it seems like you dislike LeBron James, but would you say that you hate LeBron James?
You know, words like that, you got to think what hate really means. I'm not going to pretend that I'm not a hater. You know, like I'm not going to pretend I'm one of these people that says, no, I'm just fairly, critiquing. No, I think LeBron James is responsible for at least 90% of what we're seeing. You can trace the changes in the NBA from calling people out to when they put all their eggs in one basket with LeBron James before he'd done anything. And instead of keeping the same standards of, this guy might have been really good, but he's not quite the one. Instead, you can go back and listen to them analyze. Like when he went to Miami, there's some really interesting clips where you can hear Stephen A. Smith and a couple others saying, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know, he's not the guy. He's going to Miami to get some help. He needs Dwayne Wade to be a number one, and he needs to be a number two or a number three, because that's his style of play. And it's excuse making, because that's not what you told us LeBron James was when he came in. You said he was the man. You said he's the chosen one. And you're handing this guy MVPs that he doesn't deserve. So don't turn around and say that there's nothing wrong with going to Miami and getting carried by a real leader. Sure, there isn't anything wrong with that, as long as that's your actual legitimate story. Because after they make that excuse, they go right back to pretending that he is the GOAT.
Do you think that once LeBron James retires, do you think that they're going to do something similar with someone else, or what do you think is that moving forward after he retires in the near term?
Every game that I hear the glazing is mind-blowing. They really want everyone to think that LeBron James is the best ever and you'll never see anything like him again. They put so much into that it all makes you wonder, maybe they're not going to try and make a next person greater than LeBron James. I don't know. I seriously question the NBA's future. I'm not sure we have the luxury of even worrying what the next strategy is going to be.
Well, I just made a video talking about it, not to plug myself, but the aspect of is that they are getting these tremendous TV deals and they last for some time and it gives them all this guaranteed money. But in my opinion, and it's not really just my opinion, it's just general analysis and having an idea of how things work, if you get guaranteed money and then you're not able to fulfill the worth of it, the money is going to start going away or go down at the very least. Now,
isn't that what went wrong with players, giving them guaranteed money? And so you got the same problem with the TV.
So, yeah, and people say, well, the NBA is doing great. They got all this new money with the international game, but in the United States, the ratings are down 48% in the last 12 years or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on how the world is picking up a lot of steam with the NBA, but the United States is not? Is it just a marketing problem where they're not focusing on the United States, or what are your thoughts on it?
No, they're spending money marketing here. There's just enough people that look, if you're marketing to a new audience, they don't know any better. So they're easier to lie to. And it's really damaging if you think about it. If you're showing a whole new generation of people that this is what basketball is, you have a whole bunch of people that don't know what basketball is. But you talked about the money, and that's also one of the scary things that has become more prevalent in society, is that as long as you can show that there's money, everything else is forgiven. No, you ruined a game. You ruined a game. People that watched the NBA didn't tune in because, wow, look how much money they make, I better support them. We tuned in because we love the game of basketball. We grew up playing basketball. We grew up watching the guys play basketball, and we watched them battle and play it the right way. And now you want us to say everything's fine because there's a shitload of money? No. And everybody's doing it now, whether it's a TV show host or a CEO of companies. Oh, well, it can't be that bad. Look how much money I have. That's what the human race has been reduced to now. I'm a piece of shit, but look how much money I have.
In respect of that, I know you would put some blame on LeBron James of how a lot of the NBA is doing right now. What are your thoughts on Adam Silver and NBA entertainment at large for him being the commissioner of the league and all the responsibilities he has for promoting it? How do you think he's affected the game since David Stern resigned, or however you want to put it, retired, and he took over? How much do you think he has influenced the change, or is it more so just a cultural thing and it's surrounded by LeBron James, like you said before?
Well, you could argue all day, chicken or the egg, but he certainly allowed it. He never said, okay, wait a minute, this is not the direction we should go. It's kind of the perfect storm of a weak parent and an ultra spoiled child who will walk all over a weak parent. You listen to some of the players that think that Adam Silver is great because he doesn't enforce a dress code or enforce certain types of behavior. Well, that's a weak parent, because those are not the types of things that you should be celebrating or getting excited about. And what does a spoiled child do? Sees that they can step on you and steps on you further and steps on you further. And what's a weak parent do? Keeps backpedaling. To me, that's what Adam Silver is. And what justifies Adam Silver? Look at all the money.
Yeah. What do you think? Are there any redeeming qualities within the NBA right now?
I mean, it's not like everyone out there sucks. Like you can find games that are kind of entertaining, but even the best games, you can't really get through the game without being like, are you kidding me? Like, and the stoppages and the reviews and the mandatory was that a flagrant 2? When redeeming qualities, I don't know, man. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think that's as nice as I'm gonna get. I kind of gave a compliment in there somewhere.
I think the most ridiculous thing that I saw this year was when Victor Wembanyama fake flopped where Andre Drummond, and they kicked Andre Drummond out the game for it. And then they did a review and brought him back in WWE style because they figured out that Wembanyama flopped. So he came running out the locker room and got back into the game after he was ejected. So they reversed the ejection. I don't know.
How do you not review it properly the first time that led to an ejection? What did they look at the second time?
I have no idea, man. It was just a clown show. But it was bad.
Oh, here's where you go. A lot of people, said, hey, Victor Wembanyama will save the league. He seems pretty likable. I'm like, well, unfortunately, he's adapting to what people in the NBA do. At some point, if the refs are going to continuously reward bad behavior, I mean, it's in the rule book. You're not supposed to flop. And it's supposed to be a technical penalty, but people are still getting away with it. And even if they don't blow the whistle, sometimes they swallow the whistle and don't call a foul.
Yeah,
you're still supposed to have called the flop. That's illegal. You're still supposed to have called the flop. So the refs aren't enforcing actual rules. And what are other players supposed to do? Now, I'm not justifying, hey, we might as well all get on the flop game, because what's inspiring is seeing somebody that says, well, I'm going to be better than that. I'm going to play the right way no matter what. But you can also kind of sympathize and be like, well, shit, this has gotten so bad. The only way to win is to cheat like the rest of you.
Absolutely. So we've been talking about the modern NBA and the stuff that you generally cover in your content. Now, you said it's in a terrible space. What do you think was the best space for the NBA during its time? And how long have you been a basketball fan in general? Again, I know that you have your critiques about the modern NBA, but where did your basketball fandom start, and what do you think was the best era that you've seen, or what you think of in general in comparison to how this era, in comparison to the negatives of this era?
I think I'd have to be even older than I am to answer fairly, but I grew up in a small town in the Midwest, and if you didn't play sports, you were pretty much worthless as a human being. Those towns, that's what's important. And it was fine. I loved sports. I wasn't a particularly big person, but I did enjoy. And my dad was the football coach in town, and I've always enjoyed playing basketball. We start very young, playing all of it, so I can't remember a specific time. But with my dad being a coach and everything, I'd be hanging out with the old athletes from a very young age and getting to be around it. But I'm also old enough to where you had to tune into the TV at the time that a game was on if you wanted to see the game. And then a little bit later on came like VCRs the sizes of air conditioners that you could try and tape one. But I do have memories of watching a Showtime era Lakers versus Celtics and being pretty influenced by it. But but you know, that's like me catching on. How can I not choose Michael Jordan's 6-peat period of time? Like what wasn't good? What wasn't good? The music. I mean, look, 70s, 80s, 90s. It's a lot of good music. I can't trash any of it. I mean, pieces of it you can. I think the most astonishing thing is looking back and not realizing what you had, not realizing how bad it would get. Maybe thinking that there would be another Michael Jordan. Like his first three-peat, I didn't catch nearly as many games as I would like to. And by the second three-peat, I was old enough to, in a place in life where I could prioritize watching more of it. And I was playing constantly at the time. Like, I mean, like 4+ hours a day after work. And I think the only reason that we would leave the basketball court was to go watch the Bulls game.
No, I know what you mean. I've especially when I was younger, even generally at my age right now, I'll generally play at least an hour. I haven't over the last couple months, but I've been really busy and traveling and with work. However, otherwise, I generally play basketball an hour a day, even in my late 30s, just because it's fun and it's good exercise. It's dynamic. It's all the things that are good to keep you healthy and keep your body thinking differently to keep up with stuff. With that said, what made, I know you talked about the music. I know you talked about just the 6-peat on top of it, but outside of that, what really is the most different thing between that time period in basketball and today's time period for the people that have no idea?
Your ears didn't get assaulted with excuses and whining constantly. You know, I mean, there is no accountability now, and adults sounding like 5-year-olds is normal. And you didn't have to hear that crap back then. You saw people like play hard. And if they lost, you didn't have them all rushing off to a podcast to tell the whole world their side of the story. And, you know, it's interesting to look back. I was about to say you didn't have people like threatening to leave because they didn't like their contracts. But, you know, Scottie Pippen is a pretty good example that isn't entirely true. And hearing Shaq and his disgusting comments, it's not that weird because Shaq was one of the most, at the time, I found it upsetting when the Lakers were going to pay him $100 million to go to LA from Orlando. And that amount of money was upsetting at the time to hear a pro athlete get that much, because as much as we enjoyed basketball, it's like, okay, come on, let's stop it. They play basketball. And again, who knew that that'd be a small amount compared to now?
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, and like you had said before, there's a lot of people in life that just won't say I messed up or I could have done this better, or in a phrase like you said, there's no accountability for what they do or what they've done. So yeah, I completely understand, and you have a fan base that obviously follows suit in respect to their opinions on it, and it is upsetting. And even when I was a kid, the whole Michael Jordan run, he was my childhood basketball hero. So when I was 11 or 12, that's when the second three-peat was done. So that whole time period, the Space Jam, he was my childhood basketball hero. So Space Jam through the second three-peat is where it was all front and center for me. And
so you were an actual child or close to a child when Space Jam came out. So how you perceive that's got to be completely different than me.
Oh yeah, no, it made me fall in love with basketball.
Wow.
Yeah. If anything, if I had to say what my favorite basketball movie is, it's Space Jam.
Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, outside, I'm not
it's
saying
not the best basketball movie, but it influenced you because of your age and the type of movie it was at that time.
Exactly. I'm not, again, yeah, to your point, it's not really a basketball movie. It's a cartoon.
All right.
With basketball as the setting, but it's not really a basketball movie. But yeah, so for me, that whole time period and just how they sold everything. And again, this is from my perspective as a child, but even looking back on some of the coverage every time within a series or within a game, it was as if it was the world was on the line in this game. And now they don't even care. It seems like. I mean, do you agree with that?
It's hollow caring. Like it's like they get together ahead of time and like, oh, the script says let's glaze the living crap out of this person for this amount of time and repeat these things throughout the game. So they're getting their marching orders to pretend like it's important, but it just rings hollow. Like you nailed it. The broadcast was presenting the game as if it was, everything was on the line, and the players played like everything was on the line. I mean, it was good entertainment because these guys were going to war.
Yeah, and to the point is that you talked about it being hollow. There's got to be evidence that what they're talking about rings true with what you see. And a lot of the times I've watched maybe 5 or 6 games this year, which is not a lot, but every time I've watched it, the games don't seem competitive. It seems like they're just going through the motions.
What the hell was that Celtics game? What the hell was that Celtics Lakers game? I know all LeBron stands are going to be like, oh, you just don't like it when LeBron wins. Don't tell me that wasn't a fucking pathetic showing by the Celtics. Did you see it?
I didn't.
Oh, okay. All right. And in addition to the Celtics being absolutely pathetic, you had Reggie Miller doing his things like complimenting LeBron James on a pass before the pass had taken place, because guess what? He threw it right into the hands of the other team. And there's Reggie Miller saying, what a pass. Don't tell me that Reggie Miller doesn't have a script that says compliment LeBron James this many times, where he's fitting the compliment in before the pass has even been completed.
Well, so this is something that, because I know why guys like Reggie Miller or Larry Bird or these players are complimenting the players of today, or a lot of them are. It's because they're trying to steward the game of basketball in the NBA that provided them the lifestyle, and they set the foundation for it. Now, to your point, sometimes it's a little ridiculous where it's, it just doesn't make sense why they're saying it. But do you think that's right, that they are stewarding the NBA and the game forward, trying to make it live, versus saying, well, I was the best? And some of them do this too, but particularly the broadcasters and the media faces, they don't, outside of the independent ones and the inside the NBA guys. But
look at me. I mean, it's driving me away. Hearing them, I hate being lied to, and I hate hearing people lie to other people. He's not doing the future of the NBA any favors with fake compliments, and his glazing is 90% focused on LeBron James. And in fact, hearing people like Reggie Miller and James Worthy be sellouts drives me even further from the game and makes me even more concerned about society, and makes me want to blame the NBA for the downfall of society even more, which is crazy. You can't blame the NBA for the downfall of society, but they fell together. How many viewers are there? Even though viewership is down, how many people tune in to hear these whiny brats tell the world that it's everyone else's fault except for theirs? You think that behavior isn't being emulated by the people that watch that shit?
Absolutely. I think in the history books they are going to say that the NBA destroyed the United States of America and the world. No, but absolutely, the influence of the game and the commentary. That's a great point. Is that it affects the culture of the country, especially it being one of the biggest sports medias in the country, let alone the world.
Can you imagine what it feels like to be older than me? Like you were a diehard Showtime Laker lover. Let's say you lived in LA. You didn't have to live in LA, but let's say that you were, as on board with the Showtime Lakers as I was at the time in life that I was with Michael Jordan's six-peat. I mean, you know what I mean by the six-peat. Yeah. Imagine how cringe it is for those guys that listen to James Worthy and the shit coming out of his mouth now. Like they loved James Worthy, and now they hear James Worthy lie for $1.
Well, even for me, not living, not being as old as you, but just having some matter perspective of the impact of his on-court and off-court production towards the game of basketball with Michael Jordan. To me, it really doesn't make any sense outside of saying for LeBron James, the only compliment that, I don't want to say the only compliment because he's a great player in total, just in respect to all-time greats. But the only big thing that's exceptional is his age and the statistical production that he does. Otherwise, he's done a lot of great things throughout his career, but that's what people are really hanging their hats on is, wow, he's in year 22 and he's doing these great things, and they are great in respect to the production. But the difference is, and why I think you and at least me gets upset when people say that LeBron is greater than Jordan, or in the GOAT conversation at that, which I don't think he's in, is that a lot of his production individually is not associated with winning.
Exactly.
So, and it's about results in life. It's about results, in my opinion, in basketball for people to be considered great. So he's had results, but in respect to Michael Jordan or other all-time greats, it's not even close about the results that he's gotten versus them, or how he got those results.
Yeah, I mean, the how is a whole nother layer of this story. The pretending that eventually accumulating these numbers is worth getting excited about is bad enough. But just go watch the most recent game and you see LeBron James just cheating from beginning to end in almost every facet of the game. Clearing out, throwing people to the ground, traveling his ass off, offensive fouls, flopping. And again, you have changed the rules or chosen to ignore rules in order to help somebody who isn't earn these accolades that were already hollow in the first place. Think about what I just said. That's horrifying. And people are cheering for it.
Yeah. And it makes no sense to me. It really doesn't. I don't understand the appeal, or not to sound smart, but the cognitive, how they came to these conclusions is ridiculous to me. I don't understand how you say the guy that's accumulated all these total points is the GOAT. Why don't you look at guys like Elvin Hayes? If you thought that all of these total stats and accumulation of these stats over time and the production of the player, why don't you look at a guy like Elvin Hayes, who's got a couple championships? And it's different, but if total stats are so important, why is he not in your top 10, or why is he not in your top 20? Just as one example, let alone other guys. But I don't get it. So this is a question that rings dear to my heart. Do you think that Michael Jordan fans are the best, and why?
I don't have an answer to that. I would say that if you like Michael Jordan, I'm more likely to like you. But as long as you aren't a LeBron fan, I'm willing to listen to why you like another player. You gave an example, like how when things happen in your life influence you long term. So if somebody at a certain age saw maybe somebody sticks with Derrick Rose or Grant Hill despite the fact that they got injured, and they're like, I still am, they insist, yeah, but I still love him. He's still my all-time favorite. Well, I'm not going to have a problem with that person. But I'm obviously not going to have a problem with Michael Jordan fans. I do have a problem with LeBron fans.
So do you think that LeBron James fans are the worst, and why?
Yeah, absolutely. For all the reasons I just said, all the absurdities about the game, the lies being told, the fact that you don't care about the context, the fact that you don't care about the cheating, how about the fact that you can't think past the notion that he's not the first 40-year-old to play the game, and any NBA athlete that was ever known as a dunker is dunking into their 50s. And these people are dumb enough to be like, oh, no one does this, no one can do this. Yeah, they did, they have, they still can, and they were doing it without a wide open lane, with zero resistance, without this insecure twat mean mugging after completing a wide open dunk, and maybe even going to the free throw line afterwards because the floor wasn't soft enough when he landed on it.
Well said. Well, I want to thank you for this interview, and for the people that have just found Angry Old Hoops Fan, you can be able to find his link in the description section, so go check him out if you've liked what he has had to say. Do you have any last things that you want to talk about before we sign off here?
Well, you asked me if I have a favorite of my channel, and do you remember a video that YouTube suggested to you, or that you saw, that made you say, oh, maybe I'll get this guy on Sunday? So
really what first, and I've watched a decent amount of your videos, and you've sent me some of your videos where I've watched the whole things at length too, from behind the scenes stuff. But what really got me, what introduced me to you were your shorts. And my favorite short of yours is it's the Golden Gate Bridge, and it's zoomed in, and you have your theme music, and it says LeBron is spotted at the Golden Gate Bridge, and it zooms out from the Golden Gate Bridge, and you're on the side of the bay or the river, and whatever it is, I don't know. I've never been there, so I don't know what it looks like. But it's it's your shirt, and it's LeBron is a B word, and I just thought it was the funniest thing in the world. That's definitely my favorite thing, my favorite short of yours, and then a lot of your videos are funny, where you just go in and you're critiquing and you're laughing and you're rewinding, and it's funny. But that's my favorite piece of content, which probably didn't take nearly as much time as you did with a lot of other things. But I thought it was the funniest thing in the world.
Interesting.
I mean, I still laugh thinking about it. It's just so funny. I don't know, man. but
I'm glad you liked it. Yeah, that was pretty easy. That's not that old either.
Yeah. No, and then I know your question was, what was the first thing that tied or what drew me to ask you to come on the Sunday show? And I'd seen, I don't remember specifically, honestly. But I had seen your stuff, and again, a lot of your stuff is, for the people that don't know, it's generally you talking over a lot of clips, and then you'll go and you'll say, well, this was travel, this was a bad shot, or you show a lot of low lights per se, and then you'll comment on them, and it's funny. But again, what's up?
If I had a video editor, if I could afford a video editor, I might laugh more in the videos, just laugh at the comedy of LeBron James's errors. But as the editor, I'm so tired by the end of editing it that I'm not having any fun anymore. I'm legitimately mad. I can get enough examples of LeBron James being an ass in the first quarter to do a 30-minute video, man.
Yeah, and to your point, it's not that you laugh every time, but sometimes it's funny. You're laughing is probably not the word. You'll snicker. You'll be like, "Oh, this is kind of ridiculous." You're not like enjoying it. It doesn't sound like you're enjoying yourself to that point.
Every now and then, I got to do more of those.
Yeah, but thank you, sir. I appreciate you for taking your time here.
Absolutely.
And yeah, I know you said that you had no comment, but I have to say unequivocally that Michael Jordan fans are the best.
I'll say it. Michael Jordan fans are the best.
Nice.